Go.
All right. Well, welcome everyone. I am so excited to be introducing two of my absolute most favorite and beautiful people in the world. Now, Obom and Anna, aka better known as ObomAna, are
Word.
gonna be dropping some fire today. To be honest, I don't even know what to expect yet because every time that they do something together, it always ends up being just mic drop after mind blowing moment after mic drop. So, the amount of excitement that I have to share with you guys of being able to have these two on here for this hour of power, because really that's the definition of what these two are, just such powerful, amazing individuals. I don't know how far you want me to go in an intro because I could talk to both of you guys for probably the whole hour. Because you're
Well,
awesome.
just spend the next 30
So
minutes
I mean,
sharing from the
every
heart. That's it. No, I'm just kidding. 30 seconds. Okay.
amazing. Well, I mean, these two, honestly, they have the most beautiful story in terms of going from a place of, struggle to success. Like, I've never seen people achieve the level of success that these two have, having come from, the background that they both have. So it's so inspiring because it's actually a story that's relatable, to the very core of people who have literally gone from here to there's no ceiling. It keeps going. So, they built like 7 multi-million-dollar companies together, which is a beautiful thing. And, between Obom having served as a Marine for years and gaining 3 Purple Hearts, to Anna being, a runner and an athlete who is at pretty much the Olympic level, which is absolutely insane because, running is something that just tests you time and time again. I wasn't running at that level, but when I did run, I mean, the dedication and the ability to go through pain from running is just, it's a beautiful thing. So the two combined together just create this amazing synergy. And I'm so excited to invite these two beautiful people on here to share with you their hour of power. So ObomAna, take it away.
Word.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. And you know what, Stephanie? We'd be remiss if we didn't say a few kind words about you as our amazing daughter as you are. But what some of you don't know, besides her dropping all the bombs over Baghdad when it comes to being the nutritionist of the century, she is a two-time award-winning best-selling author. I mean, just for starters. She's also one of the best barrel racers. And though she doesn't get into barrel and races, she gets on a horse and they act as one and she just kind of dominate the space. That's how she rolled. The woman is just bad. That girl good. She that good, she bad. She's so good, she's so bad. She's so bad, she good. Right? But also she is one of what most people aspire to be. If you've ever in your life wanted to be globally known, internationally recognized because of her ability to do things so effortlessly with her gorgeousness. I'm not even going to say it. I'm going to have her tell you just within the last year, one of her newest titles. And then we're going to jump into this training. So tell them, Steph, because most folks don't know. Most folks don't know that big awards you got that the whole world sometimes try to have. Tell them who you are. Tell them what you is.
So I ended up being a Guinness World Record
Boom, just right there. Don't even say no more. That's it. Just right there. Just right there. Just leave it right there. Right? Here's the part. She's so humble, I end up being, she's picking the mic up real slow, end up being, I get it, boom, drop the mic. She dropped the mic right there on you guys. So anyways, thank you so much, Stephanie. We're super excited to be here with you today. And as most of you can tell, my wife, Anna, and I, AKA the ObomAna team, we love having fun. We love working together. So today, there's something that most people probably have not seen for a while. I decided that I decided that today you're going to hear a lot of the story. I'm probably just going to ask mostly just questions, mostly from Anna's side, because everybody hears it from my side, but they haven't really heard it from her side. And we're going to talk about it today, really about what it took building 30 companies. We sold 22 of them. We had 7 left, and we just started a new one for one of my favorite people on the planet in the world. And, our CEO of global operations for that company, Ms. Sauna Patel, helping us build that bad boy out. But what it took building those 30 companies and creating this miracle child that we have, you know, from the get-go, and how everything we do, there's always a plan, even when it seems random, because sometimes it seems random. We might have a plan, and we may say, 7 years, we're going to execute this plan. And Obom gets a little too excited, and 3 years into it, we started that plan.
It's like this morning. He surprised me this morning playing 80s music in the bathroom. I was like, what is wrong with you today? And it
benefits of marrying an older dude.
Yeah, I was like, honey, it was like, I wish you were here. Dude, I'm right here. What else do you want? He was like, I know, it's just honey. I was like, all right, whatever you say.
So it's all good in the hood, keeping it good. So let's get started.
Okay.
All
right, we're literally gonna get started.
We're literally gonna jump into it. There's no need to seesaw this thing. Okay. So let's, you know, before we even go anywhere, anytime we start anything, anytime we do anything, you always have to start with the, no, right? You have the context, but the end in mind.
Oh yeah, that one. I don't know what you're talking about. There's so many things we do.
You're like the master student. You should have been like on top of that right away.
I'm gonna go there.
Yeah, don't go there. Okay. So starting with the end in mind.
Let me go
so
here.
If I were to ask you, right, the end in mind, what did we start with the end in mind from the beginning? What's the big goal? What drove us to all these companies, all the things we're doing, and what we're still doing now?
So our big goal, what we're doing everything for, is to own our own island, so we can live in a place with all of our friends that we want to be surrounded.
No, we won't. We choose.
Well, yeah, we choose, because
There's some people you look. Here's a lesson in there. There's some people you want to be surrounded with, but you got to be very choosy with who you choose, because some people, they won't bring you down. They will just cut the ceiling out from under you, and you won't even know what happened. So, it was. You're absolutely welcome. That's how we roll. Potatoes.
Potatoes.
Okay. So now with that in mind, so we all. One of the biggest goals, because we talked about this earlier today too, that for a while, even sometimes you forgot the big goal, because so we had like 4 goals, right? So here are them. The big one, which is the island. The next big one, which is miracle. Oh, that one is done and accomplished and ready. And well, we'll talk about that goal a little bit in itself, because that required a whole lot of faith. The other one was vacations twice a year, 6 months apiece. And then the third one was basically we finished 2 of the top 4, right? Was to travel the world for a year. We did that and it felt so good. We did it for 18 months. And then I put on 67 pounds because I didn't really plan to work out as much.
I just drink a lot, so I didn't gain that much.
She is Mexican, so, you know, half her body weight was tequila one season. It was okay. But
okay, we don't need to talk about that.
So on a serious note, let's talk about like from the beginning, right? With you thinking about, well, first of all, when we met, how old were you?
21.
21. And which number of boyfriend was I?
1.
Numero uno. Ooh, getting spicy up in here. Okay.
So I decided, so let me go
What
back.
did you decide?
I had decided that I wasn't going to date until I was ready to commit. That was just a choice that I had made. I actually talked to my father about this during high school, because I had seen, you know, girls going from one boyfriend, basically just trading boyfriends, and I didn't like that. I thought it wasn't for me. So my father and I actually had this conversation when I went into freshman year, and I had told him, I'm not going to date. I'm not going to have no boyfriends. I'm going to finish school and then get my career going, and then I'll figure it out. So that was a conversation. That was a conscious conversation that I had.
So the other day when we were talking together, I found out that, you know, you did decide that I was going to be the guy like right away, but you took 7 years. But no, you're not going to let this one down.
I know.
Okay, so why? Like, what happened? What was going on in this 7 years?
So one of the things that I do know is that people can show you what you want to see in the beginning. So I figured out that it takes about 2 years for somebody to keep up a facade. The third year, they'll start showing who they really are, which is when him and I started to date because he was still consistent. Then it took us 3 more years to really get to know each other. Because I don't know if you guys look at statistics, but after about 7 years, a lot of relationship or marriages fail for X, Y, and Z things. So I said, you know what? Let's try this out. So it's 6 years.
That was a sociologist in me.
This
right?
is sociologist in me, yes.
That was an experiment. That's
But
so
the-
you know.
But the thing
Test
for
tube
me,
husband. Test lab.
the thing for me was, if I was gonna commit to a relationship, it's for the long haul. It's not just for until I get tired, it's until I die. Like that, and him and I actually had this conversation.
Until you die or you kill me first. Is that what it was? It's like for some people, like that was part. That's not a goal. Just so you know.
No,
so,
it's not a goal, but
right.
they know what I mean. I'm not saying, okay, disclaimer, I am not saying I'm gonna kill my husband or I'm gonna die tomorrow. I'm just saying that's for me, that's how I looked at our relationship is if I'm gonna commit, I'm committing. Like I'm going to commit. Yes, we will have our ups and our downs, we'll have our detours or whatever you want to call it, but as long as we can work them out together, that has always been my end goal.
Okay, so
in the relationship.
Most people know the story. We met, 3 years dating, 3 years friends, and we got engaged. So what was really going on in this 7-year process? Because for those of you who don't know, also we were, well, you met me. I was 1 year fresh into being homeless, and she joined me in my mobile home. So what was really going on in, well, not Anna's world, what was really going on, and what was we really fine-tuning or working on in that 7 years? Like, what was really happening?
So really what happened there was we were creating our dream world. We were daydreaming most of the time. This is where we came up with these goals we wanted, the big dreams and all that stuff. I always tell people the happiest days that I can remember are the ones where we were in the car, just daydreaming, always, just constantly thinking of how are we going to make ourselves better. Now we are better, we're different people, but it's not that we're not happy, is that when I try to take out a file of saying I'm happy, those are the files that come out. So that's really what we were doing for like 5 years, in just really dreaming of what we wanted to get accomplished throughout our life, and we're almost there.
So you decided to date me. You already knew because I told you early on. It was like probably within the first week or two, but you planned this whole life, and then you planned kids with this guy that had a vasectomy, couldn't really have kids, and you wanted kids, but you were planning to get married to this guy that couldn't have kids anyway. What was that whole mentality like? What was, because there was still a possibility that would never happen, but I mean, what was going on in your mind, or what was the whole issue, for that whole journey?
Okay, so it's a lot of faith, let me tell you. There's a lot of faith in that one. I just needed, really what happened is we talked about, I've always wanted to be a mom since I was 15 years old. That's been my one thing that I wanted to do.
True Mexican right there.
I did not, it was an obstacle, but there was a solution. Let's just say that. There's always a solution. We always say if there's a problem and money is it, then it's not a problem. So if money was the issue, all we have to do is make enough money to be able to pay for the surgery, right? It's not an issue.
That just reminds me of like all the primary, secondary, the backup plans.
We were gonna get a baby, no matter what. We would have had a baby. I am fortunate enough to have been able to carry her myself, given birth to her myself. I'm very fortunate, but we would have had a child. Trust me.
Do you remember the career plan?
Yes, we were. Yes.
Okay, tell them about the career plan.
we were gonna go to Korea, get inseminated, choose the sex of our child, stay there until she was born, and then so she'll have dual citizenship, right? So she's born there, dual citizenship. We're American parents, so we can bring her back. But that was one of our backup plans.
Yeah. How much was that plan gonna cost?
I can't remember that.
It was 40 grand to do
yeah, it wasn't that bad. Actually, that's not bad at all. But back then it was a huge goal, but now it's like, okay. But the thing is, when he told me that he had a vasectomy, I honestly, to be completely honest, I had never heard it because my family, we didn't talk about sex. I didn't know what the heck that was. So I had to Google what a vasectomy was.
They didn't talk about it, but they did it a lot. No, just
and so when I figured out what it was, I was like, how's that gonna work? Okay. So then I was like, can you like do a surgery or something? Or how does that work? Like, do we just take your sperm? Like, I don't understand. Anyways, we figured it out. He gave me a biology lesson. And then I said, okay, at least he's willing to go through the process, right? I have a willing participant. We talk about this all the time. Somebody always has to give their consent. So he gave consent that he wasn't opposed to having any more children. Because remember, he has 2 girls from his first marriage, which I love those girls like they were my own. So
what do you call them?
They're my bonus babies, my bonus
baby.
children. Those are my bonus girls.
We leverage that.
Yeah, so because I leveraged it, I had my first one when I was 15.
Oh, you got your goal.
So I got my goal, right? This is the way I look at it. At the end of the day, they're a part of him and a part of their mom, which I have learned to love and care for her. And at the end of the day, hey, if it didn't work out with them, that was a decision they made, not a decision that I made, because I gave him an out when we first got together. If you want to go back to your first marriage, go for it. There is no commitment here. This is why it also took 7 years, because there was 2 other individuals that I had to think about. And if I'm going to be part of their life, then I have to remember that I don't want to be the cause of them feeling that I was the person that tore them apart. So I gave him an out. I remember telling him it's okay, baby. It was one of the hardest conversations that I ever had to have with him, but it was a necessary conversation. So when he committed, he said, no, I've tried to, be at peace with her and get back together, all this stuff. It didn't work. I said, okay. So then we move forward. So 7 years have passed by. So I am gonna probably like put my shirt up and put her head underneath just so y'all know. Okay.
While you do that, I'm gonna share a little bit. So while she's getting her together, this is family time right now. Look, black it out, black out.
And phone. Okay.
All right, so she's gotta get it. Can't see. That's my special stuff. Nope, it's not even my special stuff anymore. The phone. There you go. Look, Miracle is on scale. She wants to breastfeed and watch her show at the same time. This chick is talented, so she wants to. Okay, that.
There we go. Y'all can see my boob anymore.
No boob shots. All right, PG-13 show. So, with that being said, Mrs. Bowen.
Yeah.
So we know a little bit of the backstory coming into, because the purpose of today's call is really to have them understand, the balance between building a business and family, and how do we put it all together. So the backstory, what was our plan to be able to kind of get where we are now from the get-go?
So our plan was, okay, from where we were to where we are today. The plan was to get ourselves out of the mess we were in first, because we were in a deep hole, and there, once you create a deep hole, it's like trying to get out, it's hard. So that's when we first joined our second network marketing company, which helped us get to a place where we were able to now dream and start different companies that we've always wanted to do, like the relationship company that I'm very passionate about, but right now it's not our focus.
Before you go with that, what was your most favorite memory of billing that company?
Oh, my, honestly, it's watching people understand their spouse, watching them say, whoa, I've been doing this unconsciously, and now I can change to make my relationship better or make it a priority. Because a lot of times, this is the reality is, if you're not doing the business with your spouse and they have their own job or they have their own business and you guys are doing something different, then you forget that that's important to them and you only want to talk about what's important to you. So that has always been one of the biggest things is at the beginning, I had to learn this. I wasn't as supportive as I needed to be, but I also know my strengths and I know where I cannot help him anymore. And that's where he has to find somebody else that can help him take him to the next level in a sense. But that's one of the best things that, being able to help your friends just change the way they think towards their spouse is always a plus, because then you're helping them, have good years of marriage instead of rocky years of marriage.
So what was the toughest thing to, working with me? What was the toughest thing to like get and understand working together?
One of the biggest things is Obom has great ideas. He has fantastic ideas. My biggest challenge working with him and being his wife and business partner and confidant, whatever you want to call it, has been to keep him focused on one thing, which is now what we have found is the today's the day message, which now we have found we have incorporated into the OB Mastermind, which is now what we are incorporating into the Acera business. So that one message for him was key for us, because thank you to Vinny, I'll be indebted to this man my whole life. But because of him, we literally started what is now called the OB Mastermind. We started this because we wanted to create leverage, because we were about to have a child. This is back in 2017 when we thought all this out, right? We're on this walk and we're talking, and I said, okay, how do we keep you home to be able to be a father? How do you stay home? Because we're doing so much traveling. Once we have a kid, we can't do all this. So he said, this is when we really found out what today's the day was going to be. Today's the day has been our greatest accomplishment as of now. And I'm very proud of him for being able to explain what he explains, the way he explains it, so people can understand these very complicated concepts into something so simple. Okay, baby, hold on. But one of the things was we wanted him to stay home. So we were trying to figure out how to do the Zoom thing, which now we are masters at. 2, we wanted him to not have to work every day. He was working so hard every day, constantly. And 3, we wanted him to be present in everything that happened with our daughter. So we created this mastermind, which we called it something else at the time. I don't even remember what we called it, but we called it something else. And we started this mastermind with Vinny just in mind the whole time. And how can we help? Because we all know he has great admiration for Vinny, and we're indebted to him to the highest degree you can possibly be indebted to someone. So then Vinny agreed that he wanted to do this. So thank you for this. So he agreed, and then we started it. 2 years later, we found a name. I decided I didn't want to be his accountability partner. I wanted just to enjoy Miracle, be her mom and everything. So yes, I still have my hand in everything, but I'm not the person.
Yeah, foot and fingers, nose and mouth.
I still make a lot of the decisions, yes. But it's because at the end of the day, whatever he decides, we have to decide. It doesn't matter who or what is involved. If it involves him, it involves me. And if it involves me, it involves Miracle. That's it. So we don't make decisions lightly. So when we decided that we needed to find someone to help him, he went out to look for them. I didn't go because that was not my focus. I honestly told him it's gonna take about 7 people to figure out what to do with what I used to do. Just 7, not a big number,
7,
just 7. But it's hard to find people that are willing to work the way they need to work and put the focus, because basically their identity is basically gonna be X. It's now, are you willing to do that? So that was one of our biggest things, is just finding the right people, because we had to decide what was important to us. And to us, what's important is the family. It's always been, our family has always been our number one. I mean, money is great and everything, but if you're alone, it doesn't really matter.
That was just, would you just give me the eyes? No, okay, all right. I'll take the eye. So the difficulty working with me, too many ideas, executing too many plans, building too many companies. What was your life like in those 4 years when we were like build the 30 and then you finally says, we're gonna sell all these companies? Like, what was that? And then you give me a choice of how much I can pick whatever. What was that whole thing like?
So there's a saying that you can't, what is it called? You can't serve 2 masters, right? When you have 30 different things that you're doing at one time, you're not putting 100% of your effort into anything. So it's very chaotic, it's very stressful, and it's hard on your family because you're trying to help them. Like for me, just trying to help them stay focused on one thing. And then if we forget one task, it's like a disaster for that company. And if we can fix it then now we have had to let go of a few other companies and priorities because, so it was just like, babe, this was said, babe, we got to figure out who wants these. They're all great, but this is not what you want to focus on. Let's not put our energy into this anymore, because at the end of the day, this is not what your legacy is going to be. Your legacy is now what your message is, which is that today is the day message. That's his legacy. I don't care what else you want to do, or what your clothing line, your this, that, and whatever. I don't care. Your legacy is the today's the day message. And we had to have a very frank conversation. And sometimes you do, even with yourself, if you don't have a spouse.
What's our preparation for like having this conversation like?
Oh, so this is how we started. Would you like me to be your wife, or would you like me to be your business partner today?
That's when I know I screw up. Whenever she start with that line, I'm like, don't worry about it. Or is it like one day she was ready to just give it to me.
And he wanted me to be his wife. You know how hard that is when you're like just ready to just let him have it, and he's like, and so okay.
Yeah. So she spent the whole day. I was like, normally it takes about an hour or 2, but I took that whole day and milked it. I was like, if I'm gonna, I asked the question. And I decided which one I wanted you to be. So I was going to enjoy that whole day. She was so mad. She was so mad.
But I did it.
And working together, sometimes when you get mad, what's our resolve to helping, like when we're both mad, what's our resolve to like not be mad?
Okay. If you have children, take them away. We go and have sex.
That's right. All right. So
that's why I love working with him. Yeah, I have benefits.
Right. So, the other thing about working from home, like what was it like working from home, running all the companies, right? So the good thing about working from home
is that you're home.
And the bad thing about working from home
is that you're home.
That you're home. So what were the first thing, like in the beginning, like even one of our mentors saw it and told us like, you got to stop that, ObomAna and Anna. what was our biggest problem working from home? Like, especially like right after we got married.
We spent a lot of time at the sex rather than working.
That's the truth.
So the thing is, we thought we were working because we were thinking about working, but we weren't actually doing any work.
We were working all right. I was working.
Okay.
I was working.
Debbie is like, oh my gosh, I know, right? I know.
I was working it. So, what the girls? You know, you have to work. So, one of our mentors. So sometimes you learn these great lessons. We were because the whole thing together was this: while we dated and were friends and got engaged, that 7 years, what we didn't do the entire time was what? Right? So I was making up for lost time the moment we got married. I was just trying to catch up for the 7 years that, there was nothing there.
So the thing for me, that was a conscious decision also. Because I know that once I give my body to somebody biblically, then I have committed to that person. I am not giving the cookies before I get the prize. That's just the way I thought. And not a lot of people think the way that I think.
The cookies or the goodies?
Whatever you want.
My goodies. My goodies.
So,
your milkshake brought all the boys to the yard, but only this.
Stop. So, you are putting all my business out there.
Better than y'all. No.
Anyways,
okay.
stop. So anyway, so that was my conscious decision, because it was just one of those things that, that's like, for women, that's your most valued possession. It really is. You have so much power with that. Okay? That's
so, don't act like that was just your,
No, he was a willing participant, right?
We both had the same idea.
Yes.
Because I told her, I says, look, I screwed up the first marriage, and I'm not doing it again.
Did.
So, one of the things we did do though, together, actually, let me, so yesterday when we were talking, and I was sharing, yes, Miracle is talking to everybody on Facebook, by the way. If you guys can't hear, she's having a conversation on Facebook, and they're like, no, babe, don't do the phone. So she's over here like, hi, everybody, I'm telling you. She's having a whole other conversation. Everybody, I wish y'all could hear her.
You will. If you go to Facebook and watch it, you'll be able to hear it.
But so one of the things I did in good game recognized game, I told her, I says, look, dude, I totally screwed it up on the first marriage. I'm not gonna mess it up this one. So here's what I did. I invested in 4 relationship retreats that year. Look, I was making money to eat and then pay for these relationship retreats. Like, cause that was, she's trying to take the chips, and since we're not paying her that much attention right now, she's like, Mom and Dad, pay attention to me. All right, so I told her, I says, listen, I paid for these 4 relationship retreats so that we can go to. I said, I want to make sure I do it right. These retreats, you got to go with a partner. I already paid for it, so you can come for free and learn what it is, you need to do when you get in a relationship. I wasn't saying anything about me because, I already know I already know I was a guy. I already know I was a perfect guy. Anyways, but I just needed her to see it. You know what I'm saying? So we attended all these retreats together. And after a while, when everybody was talking about all this stuff that guys need to do and yada, 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 da, 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 she just had to think about it like, damn, Obama is doing all of that. Like, like Jay-Z say, if you feel like a pimp, then go on, bust your shoulder up. I just to be sitting there, baby, wait, like, I'm just waiting for her to catch up and figure out what's going on, be all up in here, right? So we attended every year, and we still do. I don't know how it's going to work right now. We actually just canceled one of them because it's COVID-19, and we can't really go anywhere. But every year since we started together, we would attend a relationship retreat, whether it was a marriage retreat, a relationship retreat.
See how he bamboozled me?
Right? So all I was doing, and I'm a psychologist. If she was going and people are telling her like, hey, this is what a perfect guy is, and I'm just sitting there being the example, I'm just eating my tip. All right. Just waiting for you to wake up and see right here, flashing neon light. I'm the dude, right? So Dana said, genius. Yes, I reverse engineered my plan, Dana. So she had nowhere to run, right? then, this is my time a little bit.
Oh, okay.
Then a little bit, one day, when she realized I was the guy for her, this chick, actually, she tried to like completely disrespect me, disregard me, throw me away in the trash, not answer my call all day long. Well, that day, ladies and gentlemen, she found it out. I put an extra did in there. She found it out that I wasn't the man to be messed with or trifled with. So, you know what? Here's what I'll do. Third party, because Fasana spent some time here with us. Fasana, why don't you tell him the story? You know he's going to call on you. Why don't you tell him the story, Fasana? You know the story inside out. Tell him the story, Fasana. Tell him the story.
Okay, so they were having a date night. They were watching a movie. It was Kung Fu Panda. And so what had happened was Anna had to go pee. And so she went to the washroom and ended up seeing, because again, if you step foot in their home, it's literally like a positive affirmation, like vision board everywhere you look. There's something positive, there's something that's going to give you a positive energy, speak to your soul, reprogram your subconscious mind, etc., etc. He's a psychologist, like he said. And so Anna went to the washroom and she saw a long list of, I guess, characteristics and just positive attributes in a woman. And I guess like she already had known like how, like, I'm gonna say unique Obama is, right, by that point. And so she was looking at this list and she was reading the list of everything. And the last thing on the list really tripped her out. And it really like just put her in a state of shock, because the last thing on the list said that my future wife will tell me that she loves me more than she loves herself.
Boom.
Right?
That's it.
Yeah? Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to take it from here. You don't have to tell the rest. I'm going to tell the rest. Because why? Check this out. She saw that, she read it. We're having a good time enjoying Kung Fu Panda. And by that time in both our lives, we were going through a whole lot of ish, right? We were going through a lot of drama in both our lives. She was kind of running away from her family. I was running away from mine and problems. So we both just, spent a lot of time together with each other. And we just finished having this deep conversation where she was telling me, like, dude, I think I love you more than I love myself. And I was like, I do too. Now for me, because that's my affirmation, I wrote it down and I said it 18 months, twice a day. In my head, it was like, because this time when I got married, I told God, it's like, look, the first reason I got married with my first wife, and she was fine as hell. Let me just say that, okay? She was fine. I did it for all the wrong reasons. I was thinking with the wrong head. And I was thinking we were gonna get like beautiful children, and we did. But because I messed up the first time, I said, look, Lord, if whoever you send me said all this stuff, but the way I'm gonna know she's the one you send me without prompting, she has to say this. So when she said it, I was like, oh, game over, done deal, stand still, delivered, it's yours, she's mine. So she read it and she got scared. She got scared. Then all of a sudden we wrapped up the night. She went home and I called her to make sure she was home and she was good. Was home. And this is what happened. Just like every other day previously, I called her first thing in the morning. She didn't answer. And I was like, well, this is new. Maybe she was busy. Well, by then I had her work schedule and her entire day schedule memorized. So I know the time she took her breaks and everything else. So I called her on her breaks and everything. No answer. Then I said, okay, I'm using some Southern words here because I'm in the South. She finna find out who I really be. She finna find out who I is. So I said, okay, plan A. I'm gonna call her till she answered. I called her every hour for 4 hours. That wouldn't work. It was too damn long. Then I called her every half hour on the hour. That wasn't working either. Then I called her every 15 minutes. That didn't seem to work. So I said, well, look, I'm persistent. I'm consistent. I remember yesterday, I talked about if you want success, you got to show up consistently with a good attitude. So I was calling with a good attitude, very consistent every 15 minutes. That didn't work. So I started calling every 7.5, then I cut it down to every 3, then every 1, every 30 seconds. I left her all the message. Her voicemail was full. It only had my name on it. And she looked at her phone and said, Obom. Call her, call her, call her. It was 3 in the morning. She finally picked up her phone. And this is what she said. What'd you say?
What do you want?
And I was like, hey, this is like nothing ever happened. I was like, girl, what you doing?
Yeah.
So
that showed me that he's very persistent. And persistency is one of the qualities that all women are looking for. And for me, that showed me that it wasn't gonna steer him in the wrong direction or in a different direction just because he faced just a little bit of adversity. And that's a really big lesson it was a big lesson that I had to learn because I needed to see that in him. I needed to know that, is this really what you want? It doesn't matter if I want it. It matters if you want it.
well, here's the deal. It just occurred to me. All this time I always thought it was funny and blah, 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 and a good story, blah, blah. I never asked you, why the hell did you not pick up the freaking phone?
Because I wanted to know how persistent you are. I just told them. The thing
No. It's deeper than that.
Well, the thing is, it was first, I was a little shooken because of what I read. But if it was the truth, then he won't give up, right? That's just the way that I thought. My brain, yes, I was a little shocked, but also I wanted to know, are you really gonna stay the same way now that I know that you know that I know, sort of situation, right?
You know, now you know that I know that you know. I know you know that I know that you know I know. Now we know.
But that was really it, to be honest. It's like everybody has their own little things. And if you're gonna go through all that trouble for a whole, it's just was one day out of I don't even know how many days that we've been together, one day that you were able to just get past that. And this is where I also found out that Obom doesn't matter what, he always stays positive in every situation. It doesn't matter how bad the situation can be, he always looks at the bright side of it. So that was a quality that I was looking for at the time. I was looking for somebody that was positive.
You better stay on the bright side.
Heck yeah.
If I have a goal, I'm gonna accomplish it.
I know.
I stayed on the bright side. That's how you got that miracle child.
I know.
Listen, guys, we did this the most depressing conversation we've ever had in our lives.
Oh God.
3 hours in the doctor's office telling us all the medical reasons why we couldn't have the kids. I was over 40. I had the vasectomy for 15 years. My organs ain't gonna reproduce nothing. My wife have 1 tube available. So it doesn't, I'm like, as this woman was talking, literally, I'm not kidding y'all, my wife was sitting right there next to me. We were holding hands like this. And every word she says, I was like, I rebuke you, devil. And we go, and she was trying not to laugh. I was like, I rebuke you, devil. The devil is a liar. Satan is trying to come in here. She was talking and I was rebuking the devil because she is a liar, right? She's a liar. Now, here's the deal. I'm a Marine. Every cell in my body's a Marine. Even the little sperm cells. They were waiting for 12 years. They were waiting at the gates. The moment the vasectomy got reversed and we were able to go do the horizontal mambo again, the first time we did it, she got pregnant with triplets. That's how deep I roll. The doctor, they didn't understand that. God said I have an abundance. There was 500 million of them little boys waiting, just going. The egg chose three of them, and then Miracle decided I don't need no brothers, right? So, because Miracle was a triplet. There was 2 boys and a girl. I prayed for a girl the entire time. Anna asked for a boy. Well,
That's about all I did.
yeah, that's it. Hey, it's all good. I reaffirm, affirm, and spoken. I give it life every single day. So my body was sending the instructions out. And then Miracle was like, shh, Dad said you weren't in the picture and you weren't in the picture, right? 3 months later, we lost that baby. Look, those 2 babies. A lot of people say to us, like, don't you guys like feel, like some way you lost a kid, stuff like that? No. Wasn't their time?
No.
I didn't pray for them. There's none bad. I didn't ask for them, but now I've reprogrammed the cells in my body for boys.
I want a boy.
Right? I've reprogrammed for boys. Right now, every night at 10 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we're standing at the gates to put reinforcements, contraceptives, okay? So when we're ready to open the gate again, we're not blocking Miracle's time. She's gonna have at least 5 years, 3 more years of just us loving her before we bring some other brother in the picture, because this chick is jealous. I'm just gonna tell y'all right now, she is. She's mad jealous. She likes the breast more than I do. And I thought,
her mama.
No, don't mess with her mom. She likes the breast more than I do, and I thought that was my thing. Well, obviously, Miracle, right? In our lives, we understand this. Between her and I, we have to get our relationship and our titles straight and narrowed out. In life, you'll always be, some of you might not like this one. You'll be pimping or hoeing, one of the two. You got to decide which you're doing, when you're doing it, and how it's happening to you. Pimp, hoe. We understood that very early on, which means it's basically why we do anything, for leverage and access. She was leveraging me to get access to a lifestyle she desired. She was willing to pay the price. Now, there's one pimp, little pimp over there, 2 hoes, right? One of us is just hoeing more than the other one. I'm out here hoeing these streets, trying to work, put stuff together, make it happen, right? So we build all those companies, and in the last few minutes, we'll close up here about the balance. We build all those companies, sold all those companies. You said you weren't gonna do anything else again, which I'm so excited. I'm so excited, just can't hide it. Oh, why? Because I don't wanna lose control because of you. So check this out. She wasn't going to do nothing. And for those of you who don't know, recently, what started us on our journey to millions was nothing. We started with network marketing. And what she really didn't realize was how much fun we have building a network marketing company together. So a few months ago, I decided to start another network marketing opportunity. I never thought I was going to do it again. But here's why I did. For me personally, the company, its primary focus is highlighting the greatest talent in the world. Obviously, I know I'm one of the greatest talents in the world and my work to put on their platform. So I started with the company. And just like the Fresh Prince, I started in my neighborhood with all my best friends. Anyways, so I invited all my friends to be able to put their work on the same platform, and we're building the business together. And I started having some fun. I was doing it all by myself, snap my fingers, say, right? I was snapping my fingers all by myself. Somebody got a little jealous, 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 jealous. That's a new song coming out. That's my new R&B. Jealous, jealous, jealous. And what you doing, girl? Jealous, jealous, jealous.
Okay, let's wrap it up.
Okay, we're wrapping it up.
Because Miracle
she just broke the fan. It's okay. It's all good. We can buy another one. She said, I broke it. It's broken. So, my wife saw me having so much fun and just realized, like, so what did you say?
That I missed working with him.
Right?
So, we also now have to think about the balance between what I needed at the time 2 years ago was to focus on my newborn child, who I had no idea what was gonna be, right? I made it to the first year, which was a really good accomplishment. I was like, I need a party because I kept the child alive.
We kept her alive. We didn't kill her.
Right? Now, actually, her birthday, I believe, is Friday, next Friday. So now I have accomplished keeping her alive for 2 years. And now I have to remember that things have shifted because now she doesn't need me all the time. So for me, when he started,
I'll help you.
when we talked about not getting into network marketing, we had decided the only way we would get into network marketing is if it was something to do with personal development. We had decided this like 7 years ago. Like when we stopped building the other one, we said that's the only reason we will do it. Oh, thank you. I'll come back.
Or there was 2 reasons. What was the other one?
Or that we would be part of the foundation of the company.
Well, that was part of the same one. But the or was if one of our kids got involved and we were just going to help them do it because they saw us do it when they were younger. So we're like, we'll just build and help them be successful. So the first thing we did with this one, or I did before she joined, was we got our adult kids started.
Also, let's just be clear. When he said that I joined, meaning it's not that I was still supporting him, and all his decisions still have to run by me, because if he's doing something, I'm gonna end up doing it anyway. That's one of the things with the balance. If you do have a spouse, is you have to talk to them.
You must enroll your spouse.
It does not matter whether they're not gonna take it well or whatever. You still have to communicate with them what you are doing. Obom does not, he can make a decision on his own. I cannot make a decision on my own, but we still have to discuss that decision, which is what happens a lot of the times. If he feels it in his heart, he wants to make a decision, he'll make the decision. I'm already okay with his decision because he's already made it. But at the same time, we still have to discuss how it's going to affect us.
Oh, we don't have to.
We choose to discuss how it's going to affect us as a couple, as a family, the time that it's going to take. Because remember, for us, family time is really important. That's
Well, what's the only reason we build a business? It's to buy time.
Yeah.
That's it. To buy time with family. That's it. All the businesses or companies we've ever had and everything I've done comes back to that one big goal. And that's buying time.
Yeah, you put that in one of the pictures.
Yeah, living on our own island with all our friends. Nobody pays for anything, does whatever. That takes $3 trillion. Well, everyone always says you got to focus on your why. Well, there's always the big one, and you have to have several small ones. Because something, if you're just working at this one long goal and you're never getting there, you're gonna be deflated. You have to have other ones that will basically give you little wins every now and then. Miracle, yeah, those that are pulling you. Miracle, so that big why is a you don't know when goal. So the island is a don't know when goal. Like we could go do it now, and I'll still have to work and do something. But with 3 trillion jobs, I ain't gotta do ish anymore. So that's why that's the number. Miracle, the day we actually was like probably 5 weeks, I believe, wasn't even like 2 months after we connected. Miracle was a plan. She was a goal. She was already a 12-year goal, right? Like we started planning for her 2 months into being friends.
Because
Crazy.
Also we had discussed we didn't want to have children until after 5 years of marriage.
Why 5 years?
Because a lot of times people get married and they have children right away. And then that changes the dynamic of your relationship. We wanted to be able to enjoy each other.
Did we enjoy each other?
Oh, we enjoyed each other. Oh, did we enjoy it? 5 years of us, figuring out us, getting us strong, because when a baby comes into the picture, it changes a lot of things, and you have to be strong enough to sustain those challenges that it's gonna bring. So that was a decision that we also made. So extended it for 5 more years.
Yeah. So we have 2 horny people. Let me summarize our whole relationship for you guys real quick, right? Before we close out for the day. Stop it. Before Miracle and working and before planning and putting everything together, it was like sex, all day sex, no, nothing but sex every day. Then we figure out, just can't do that, you gotta work. Then it was like planned sex. Like literally, we planned it, got it out.
It was in our planners.
Right? Most people think that that's weird, but here's the deal. The brain works. If you have a plan, you get excited for that plan. So stayed horny all day and then it was like, ooh. Then it was planned sex, fun sex, exciting sex, this sex, whatever, blah, 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 right? brought the balance in there. Then miracle showed up, and then it was like sometimes sex. Right, so then it was like, then it was like sex whenever miracle decides, which is never. So we went through that phase of the first year. Right, and all of that to say this, we already knew a lot of these things was going to happen, and we were willing to pay the price for them. We were willing to take the time. In closing, here's what's key. In order to build balance in your life, whether you're single or you're in a relationship, you must do these three things. It's very, very clear. You must set a goal. You must be willing to pay the price that it takes to accomplish that goal. And the most important of all of them is your attitude. You must maintain the attitude you set it in the beginning to maintain it all the way to the end. They will be ups and downs. You have to enroll your spouse. You don't have to, you choose to. I choose to enroll my spouse. And game here for the men or the women, best way to enroll your spouse into anything. This is where I came up with the phrase, if money is a problem, then you don't have a problem. As long as you work enough to generate enough money to pay the problem away. My wife, how I enrolled her and kept her enrolled for a long time, didn't matter what I was doing, she had this affinity to shoes. I bought her every damn shoe she ever wanted, the red bottoms and everything else. And we're gonna wrap up with this.
And now they don't fit.
They don't fit in the most, so now I gotta buy a whole new set of shoes. Now she has the baby, and what she uses is Amazon therapy. So all of like
Soon to be a Sarah.
soon to be a Sarah therapy, right? 99% of the problems in the world are financial problems. If you can earn them away and you enroll your spouse and find out what it's gonna take to make them happy, even if it's the time, all of it still comes back to earning enough money to be able to spend the time with them. Do your best to work with your spouse and give to them what they need also, so that you can get what you need, they can get what you need, and that's gonna create for you the balance you need in your relationship. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, the ObomAna show is about to go, and we thank you. Be back on tomorrow, because tomorrow will be a fun and exciting part of the Power Hour. And we're gonna bring on an amazing gentleman who didn't even know he was gonna be on tomorrow. But it's going to be me and Vinny Cochran tomorrow. We're just going to be sharing part of the journey of leadership and how this all come together. So tomorrow, the Power Hour, the leader of them all, Mr. Vinny Cochran, and myself, Mr. Obom, Dr. Love, as Stephanie will call it, and sexy, on. So see you guys then. God bless. Bye for now, everyone.
Bye, guys.